Today on the workbench I've got a new project here. This is a Proto2000 E7 and we're going to upgrade this. It's DC right now. It's DCC ready and we're going to put a, let's see, what do we have for this? We've got a Decoder Buddy Mini. We've got two scale sound system speakers, a Tsunami 2 21-pin decoder, a TCS KA1 Keep Alive, and then the other thing, we're going to upgrade the LEDs in it, or we're going to put LEDs in it, and I'm going to use this 6-pin micro connector from TCS to put in here so when we do the lights. But let's go ahead and take this apart. All this does, you just pry the body apart there, and that'll come right off. And so you can see what we've got to work with here. Nothing major. This is going to be a fairly straightforward install. Well, I say that, it should be. I do need to put a front coupler on it. For some reason this one is broken off. But that's no biggie. So let's go ahead and get started. Pretty much we're gonna gut this entire thing, especially the lights. It's got the older style bulbs in it. Does have the Mars light and the headlight. So we'll put a new Mars light in, a headlight, and then we'll light the number boards. But we're going to have them all in the in the cab itself. So let's go ahead and we can start by removing. Let's see. I am just going to go ahead and cut all three of those wires. That's headlight, well, the blue and the white are headlight, the yellow and black up here are one of the lights. So this red over here is track pickup, which I'm going to come back here to the back and we'll cut that because we'll need it. And then this other black is that's our light we've got right there, and that's a light, that yellow. So I made two cuts on that and I didn't need to, but so we've got our motor wires, and the same thing with this, the white. I made an unnecessary cut there. Our blue, still got our black one there for track pickup. That's track pickup. This red one is a light. So we've got all of our bulbs unhooked. But what I'm going to do is pull those two screws out, and then I can take those bulbs out. I'll just pull these two screws off. Okay. And then should be able to just pull that right out. That's one. And then there's our second one. Some of those I keep, some of them I throw away. And I'm not going to be using this. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that off. Let's see. Before I get everything put all back together, I may put this coupler in. It does have a screw broken off right there. Let me see if I can get that out real quick. Forget how those... Okay. We'll just see if we can pull that right up through. If I could get a better hold of it. Some of these Protos come with little plates you can put over the front right there. This one I picked up second hand, so it doesn't have it, or I'd just put that on. There we go. So you didn't come here to watch me do those. So anyway, now let's take and go back to our wiring. So we've got our motor wires, and there's our black, and there's our red. Got our track pickup. Let me pull this board off. And I forgot to cut that. These other wires are the rear pickups. There's our board. I'll save that little screw. I'll save that little washer. Now I did test run this thing, and it does, the gears are good in it. Actually, I may have replaced the gears in this before. I don't remember now. But what we're going to do is we are going to put this Decoder Buddy right here like this. So we'll be able to use one screw in there, and I'll just go ahead and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So we can use one screw that'll go there. And then I'm going to take the Keep Alive, and I should have opened this up beforehand. I think I say that in all the videos. Go ahead and cut this out of the pack. And we'll take it and put it over here along that. But I think what I'm going to have to do is take and grind this off to make everything flat, or at least so it'll set straight anyway. So yeah, I want to take this weight off, grind that off, or the other thing I could do is leave that alone, put my double-sided tape on, and just set that over there. Put some double-sided tape right there to connect this. But I'd probably feel better with the screw in there. So, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to pull this weight off now. To do that, you just take these 4 screws out. There's one. There's 2. I'm going to get this one up front. And then one off to the side. Alright. Go ahead and pull the leads up. Well, did I do something stupid and cut off my... I think I cut off my black wire for the other side of the motor. No, I didn't. Does this pick up? Yes, I did. I did cut it off. Actually, I just pulled it off when I pulled the weight out, because right there it is. Alright, well, I'll have to replace that. So, but anyway, right now, we're going to grind that off, and then we'll be back. Okay, I'm back here. I've got that ground off, so we'll be ready to put our Decoder Buddy in there. But before we move on farther, before I can put that back on, I've got to pull this motor out now and fix that wire that I pulled out. So to get to that, the screws for the motor are under this fuel tank, and they are double-sided taped on. So we'll just kind of pull it off. And this one doesn't have the screws in it, these just push out So what I normally end up doing, I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can pull this out. That's what ends up happening. So I'm going to go ahead and push. There's the brush for that motor, but I'm going to go ahead and push these motor mounts out and replace them. Because these things get brittle. Just stabbed myself with a screwdriver. Those things are in there harder than they look, or better than they look. So we'll go ahead and replace those. I'm gonna have to get a spring for that brush because the spring came out, which that's to be expected. But I've got other springs, so that's no big deal. And I'll have to dig out my motor mounts. So let's kind of set that out of the way. We'll pull this back over. You can see where that has broken off. Get out some better wire. Thought I had a piece of I do have a piece of black wire out. I don't need to cut it. So we'll go ahead and strip this off. Get out some flux. So there's that. Get that in there. Now I need to find a spring. Let's see. Actually, I'll just pull it out of another motor here that I have laying around. That'll save me the time of looking for one. that's in there, well, tight enough that I need to bend that out of the way. It was hitting the flywheel. All right. So there's that. Now I got to get a couple of motor mounts to put this back together. I'll be back. All right. Oh, there's a spring. Wouldn't have to look very hard for it. But anyway, we can go ahead and put our motor back together. So I've got the new mounts. They'll slide right on. And these are Athearn parts. And then they just take 4 screws. That just sits right back on there. We'll go ahead and get our drive shaft lined up. What's going on there? So there's the rear. There's the front. Now we're back down in. Oop. And I can turn it over and put the screws in it. What did I do there? Yep, I didn't get them all the way. There. I didn't have it lined up all the way. Now we're in business. Okay. We're lined up, everything's good. And that will interfere with our fuel tank. Yeah. And I did stab myself with the screwdriver. Pushing that out. And then we'll get our last one in. Alright, so now we are ready to proceed. So we can put this back on. Feed our wires up through. That wire out of the way. And I'm just getting these started. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3. There's all of our screws. We'll go ahead and put our fuel tank back in. That's just held on with double-sided tape. Let's see. I see back here in the back, this is missing a spring that goes across there. I may have some more of those. You can see it up here in the front. So I am going to try to pull. Yeah, I think that runs all the way through. I'll have to look and see if I have any of those. Pretty sure that I do. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and 10 up the Decoder Buddy. Just going to 10 everything. That way we'll have it. Speakers, here's a ground and a plus for that. And I'll need aux 1. Oh, this isn't the Decoder Buddy I want. I want one that I can put resistors in for my lights. But since I have the flux on those, I'm going to go ahead and 10 it. So we'll get that out of the way. Now I need to get another Decoder Buddy. I'll be back here in a second. Alright, I've got our Decoder Buddy Mini here out. And I just had, there's one, there's two. These resistors are so small. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm looking for all of my resistors. Well, I'll have to dig another one out. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll start on our flux again. Can't believe I lost that third resistor, but I mean, it's easy to do. So I've got the positive and the ground for the Keep Alive, then the speakers, rear track pickup. I don't need these two, they're for lights. I use the motor, and I'll end up using these two. That'll be for the resistor for the well, actually I don't need to use that one, that's for the rear lights. So, but we'll use aux 1, aux 2, the ground, and we'll put these three in. So that's the resistors for them. And then we'll have our track pickup and our front light and our track pickup. So we'll go ahead and we'll start to solder. We'll get these tinned up. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to put the resistors in. And they are tiny, as you can see. And I'll have to get out another one because, like I say, I lost one. And I've got 1,000 of them, so it really doesn't matter. But anyway, let me see if I can do this without my magnifier. Get it turned around. Okay, let me go get another one. That way I'll have all three of them to do at once. Okay. Alright, so we've got our three resistors right there. These are all 750 ohm resistors. But I'm not going to be able to do that without my magnifier, so I'm going to turn you off for a second, then I'll be back. Alright, so I got them on there. Now I'm going to break out some alcohol and clean everything off. That'll make that look just a little bit neater anyway. And while I'm there, my jar's about empty, so I'll fill that up. And that's a 91% isopropyl alcohol. Alright, so we've got our Decoder Buddy ready. We've got our frame ready. Let me zoom out. I need to wipe this down where I milled out so the tape will stick. And then I'm going to wipe this down so the tape will stick. And the same with the Decoder Buddy and the Keep Alive. That way we'll have everything where we need it to be. Alright. We are ready to go. Let me get out some double-sided tape. Get that stuck on there. Of course, now the struggle so I want to make sure I get that lined up over that, and actually that way I can get it straight, maybe straighter, let's say that. Okay. Just put a little pressure on that to get it down. Okay. There we've got our that mounted. So now let's take and we'll start wiring this up. We'll start with our track pickups. Go ahead and start. Get our flux. There's our track pickups. We can get our motor. That's why you reuse that double-sided tape that's there. Trim that. Trim that off. More flux. Okay, get those out of the way. Now we'll go back up here to the front, and I need to, let's see. those wires out of the way and back to the track pickups here. I'll do these one at a time since I got stuff in the way. Probably should have put them on first, but it's all right. So there's that side. There's our other track pickup. So we've got our track pickups and our motor. So this thing is ready to run if we wanted to. And actually, I'll put on my little test decoder here just to see if the motor's wired right. I'll be back in a second. Alright, I tried it, and I do have the motor wires on backward. I mean, it's a simple CV change, but while I'm right here, I might as well just change it. Alright, now what we're going to do with, we've got our Keep Alive we can put in. So what I'll do is cut a piece of double-sided tape, run down the length of it, just like so. Then I'll peel it off. set it right here. So there's our Keep Alive. Might as well go ahead and wire it up. So we've got our flux. Tin those. So our black is our ground. Our blue is positive. Just going to tuck that in to one of those teeth between them that holds that quite nicely. So we've got our Keep Alive and our track pickups. Get the double-sided tape out of the way. I don't need it anymore. Now we're ready for our speakers. All right, we're back here, and we've got our wiring harness made up. So now what we need to do is I want to run, well, I do need to tin all of these in the front. But I'll do that in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and hook up this to the Decoder Buddy. So we're going to end up using help if I didn't have my soldering iron off. So I'll let that heat up. So there's the black wire. That'll be for one set of lights. White, I'll use my white for the front headlight, which that will go over here in that mess. And then I'll use the red for the Mars light, or the for the Mars light or the number boards. And then our blue is positive. So we'll hook it up to our positive. There's that. So we've got 3 wires. Now we need our 4th. And it will go up here on the headlight positive. Or I mean the headlight negative. I hope that's not touching. We'll turn you off for a second and look at that white wire where I put it. Okay, we're all good there. So what I'll end up doing is I'll connect all the positives to, just because it's so hard to get in here and solder. So I won't need this orange wire or this gray wire. If I had a 4-pin plug, I would use it, but I do not, so we can't. But let me just go ahead and, well, actually I'm going to leave them there for right now, just in case something would foul up. But now what I want to do is run this set of wires through this. So there's the red wire. The blue wire. Had the white wire in there. And now I need the black. So that'll get that. I don't need those two. I should just cut them off. Pull that out of the way. Alright. So now I've got all the wiring up through don't need that. Don't need that. that. Or that. Now we'll put these screws back in that hold this down. Get a piece of, actually I want to get some alcohol here, show you what I'm doing. Move to the back. I'm going to clean off right in here so I can put some not double-sided tape, but some Kapton tape to keep these wires in check. Keep them out of my way. I didn't cut my tape long enough. Okay. All right, now that'll give us room to work on our speakers. So what we've got is we'll have one that sits right in here, and this other one will go up front. Let me get this out of the way, and it sits right in there. Well, my electric just flashed off. It is raining here, and the wind's blowing. But all right. So what I need to do is, because this is so tight, JT uses every bit of available space in that speaker, or in the area that you can put anything in. So I'm not even going to have to put any double-sided tape or anything on that. It is down there. Now this one in the back, I'll put double-sided tape on it, but I want to go ahead and clean off that area in the bottom of the speaker. And we're back to our double-sided tape. So now I just got to peel these off. There's one. I'll stick that on there. And that's all there is to it to install those. Just double-sided tape and put it down. So now I'll get some wire and we'll start our stripping and tinning. Get these speakers hooked up. And I don't tin the speakers. JT doesn't recommend tinning the speakers, or I mean putting flux on the speakers, because it will make a mess sometimes. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll take this one, our negative side, I'm going to run it down to the Decoder Buddy. We'll put that on. This one I'm going to run it underneath the tape. I'll run it down to the Decoder Buddy, to the other side, or the other speaker pad on the Decoder Buddy. And these diagrams are on the Nix Trains website. So it'll go to the positive side of the opposite speaker. We'll pull that around here. And then I want a 10. That one, I'll tin that in a second. That wire around there to where I need it. There's that side. Get that untangled from that. Now I need to run a speaker wire from the negative terminal of this speaker back to the positive terminal of the rear speaker. So we'll get that wire all fixed up. Now I'll run it underneath that piece of tape. pin the speaker. Actually, I want to go a little higher there. Okay. So that's our speaker. Let me cut another piece of Kapton tape. If I can find the end of the wire. Or the Kapton tape, I mean. There's that one. Clean this one off. We'll do the same. Okay. Now, so I've got all my wires there for the lights. So what I can do is unplug that. So let me go ahead and unplug. Oh, my speaker wire came off, but let me go ahead and unplug this. Well, that's dummy. That's not going to work. That is not what I wanted to do. Let me go ahead and reattach this. Alright, I'm going to put my cheap decoder back on it here and try to see how the sound and everything works. Alright, so I'm not going to be able to do that the way I thought, so I'm going to pull that out of there, and because it would defeat the purpose of the harness. So what we're going to do is we're going to start installing our, well actually it's the last thing we got to do, because I just tried it and it does, I do have sound, forward motion, backward motion is good. So now we're ready for lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach, put in bulbs on the Mars light, headlight, and the number boards. So the way we'll do that is let me get the lights and then we'll start. Alright, I had to add these lights in off camera because I couldn't have shown it. But so what I've got is a small light in each of the number boards, one in the Mars light and then one in the headlight. And so you can kind of see them there. But what I've started using for these, I used to use the micro crystal clear. Now I use this, it's called Bondic. And it's just a small little thing, it's UV light. So you put the adhesive where you want it. I put the bulb in the adhesive and then you cure it with UV light. So it takes, it takes no time. It's better than the micro crystal clear. Well, the micro crystal clear is still good, but this sets up right now. So I don't have to wait for, a day to put it all together. So now what we're ready to do is we're ready to hook up our wiring harness that we have, that we've made up already. So we're going to take all of our red wires and we're going to hook all them together for our positive. And I'm going to go through right now, and I probably should have done this off camera. And I think I will. I'm going to go through and strip all these wires down, get them tinned up, and then I'll put them on the harness. So I'll be back. Alright, we're back here. I've got the lights in. I hooked them up to the connector, and we can go ahead and, at least this way, I may not be able to separate it completely from the shell, but I can pull it away quite a bit if I need to. And that may not be the best solution, but it does work. But I can plug that in. Before I get too carried away, I'll get my decoder out, put in. This decoder does have the dual motors set up for this, the sound anyway. So what I'm worried about is our clearance between the wires and the top of the cab. Other than that, we're fine. So I think, let me come right down around that, just like that. I think I'll put another piece of Kapton tape over that. We'll get that out. So there. We're all good there. Now I'll go ahead and I know what I wanted to do. I want to put some black paint up here to kill any light bleed. So let me do that. I'll let it dry and then we'll be back. Alright, we've got this thing finished up. I've got it here on the turntable. And let's go ahead and we'll start the go through the start sequence. Okay, so there it went through its startup sequence. You could hear that second prime mover in there kind of start up behind it. So let's turn this thing around to where we can see it. And then I'll get the lights turned on. Controller out and turn the headlight on, and then we'll turn our Mars light on, and then we've got our number boards. So that's all the lighting functions that's on this. We've got our horn, our bell. Let's get the list out here and see what else we have. Now we've got our short horn. Let's see. Of course, we can dim our headlight. Grade crossing signal. Of course, then there's coupling and uncoupling. Let's see, fuel loading. I'm just kind of touching on some of these things. Not really going over all of them. Let's see. F10 is straight to 8. Then we can go back straight to idle. We've got our cab chatter. We have this thing all done, and I think it looks and sounds pretty good. Thanks for watching.